Let's talk about this because, in my opinion, it was the deciding factor of last year's game. It was the Texas offense versus the Ohio State defense. So, what do you think about that matchup? And then, where are the concerns, I guess, on your side of the ball for the Ohio State defense? And how do you think that matchup ends up going in this game?
I'll go ahead and jump in first. In particular to Texas's offense and Ohio State's defense, Ohio State lost a lot of starters from last year. I know both teams really did, but the defense is a little bit more concerning because Ohio State, like all their starters up front are gone. The entire defensive line is being replaced. So having Texas as the first game out of the chute, I wouldn't say is ideal for a team that lost all their starters. With that being said, obviously they've still got the best safety in college football in Caleb Downs. I know he caused some issues in the game last year. He's still gonna be roaming around and doing his thing. Sonny Styles is back. He had some big plays in that game. And honestly, me and Garrison were talking about this on our show here just before we jumped on. The secondary is still really good. They've only got 2 starters returning, but the guys behind them who are jumping in, specifically at corner, they've played a significant amount of football as well. So defensively, I'm not as worried about it, even though they've also got a new defensive coordinator. But Garrison's a Matt Patricia stan, so he's got better things to say about him. But what do you think, Garrison?
Oh, I mean, in terms of Ohio State's, we're talking about Ohio State's defense, right? So,
yeah.
I'm yes, there are a lot of guys that left, a lot of senior leading guys that left. But for me, I do believe that there are things that this Ohio State defense comes in with that last year's didn't have. Again, at every single level, except for D-line, I guess you say, but at linebacker, we bring back Sonny Styles. As corner, we bring back Davison Igbinosun. At safety, we bring back Caleb Downs, who I believe to be the second best player in college football behind Jeremiah Smith. On top of that, I look at Jermaine Matthews. I've been a fan of his all the time, but a lot of Ohio State fans for the last 2 years have believed that Jermaine Matthews has been the best corner in that room. So it's really fun. I'm excited to see him play. In terms of the D-line, we got to see it. We got to see it. Now, in terms of when we talk about going against you guys, I did extensive research today on your offensive line. I do believe that there is an advantage that Ohio State's defensive line holds because it's in week 1. But I'm really interested to see what guys like Edric Houston. I'm really interested to see what guys like Caden Curry. Bo Agason is the only guy who's been a starter on the team. We were just talking about that on our show, and then
transfer from North Carolina. Yeah.
He literally looks like a carbon copy of Jack Sawyer. I not kid you. That's what he looks like in terms of like his looks. But but I do think that there's a lot of talent on this team that can show up. But the problem is that defensive tackle spot where I'm really worried.
Yeah.
After the first 2, because let's just be
I'm
honest.
even worried about some of the top 2. I know we've talked about it.
No, that you be worried about that. I'm not worried about Edric Houston, 6'4", 200.
I'm a little bit more worried about Caden McDonald than I am Edric.
Well, so the only worry I have for Caden, guys, is that he's big. And when I say he's big, I mean he's big. So I don't know if he can stay on the field all the time. If he can, cool. But I think in terms of our D tackle depth, it scares me because Tom Fornelli dropped his top 5 running back rooms in the country. Had a bunch of Wolverine fans saying they should have been over you guys. I'm like, you're insane.
Yeah.
And so because I think you guys have 3 elite talented running backs. But
yeah. Would have been nice to have Hero Canoe still on the roster. I know you guys went ahead and swiped him, but would have had to have him for some
or it'd be nice to have my D-line coach, Alan Clark. But
that's also true.
He's recruiting his ass off right now, so I appreciate him.
No, really?
We're aware.
So I want to stay on the defense for a second, if you don't mind. So Texas fans are intimately familiar with Jim Knowles. He was a pain in the ass when he was at Oklahoma State, and he came and did things to Texas, obviously in the playoffs. Switching to Patricia, there were some jokes about Garrison being a Patricia fan. It's what shifts or changes are we expecting from that Ohio State defense, kind of changing the system and changing philosophies, or are we?
I would say so. Matt Patricia does run multiple, but he does run base high 3-4. And like like for those watching who don't know, the 3-4 defense, the priority of the 3-4 defense is to blitz from different angles. Just 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, come from the outside, come from the inside. Things that I know, like the Wolverines run that, right? So the USC runs that now with their DC. So yeah. I think that changes. I think that Jim Knowles, he likes to play contained with his defensive linemen, especially the edge rushers. I think a lot of Penn State fans don't know that yet, and they're about to find out real quick. But but I think that when you guys have guys like Caden Curry and Kenyatta Jackson, who I haven't mentioned yet, those are guys that can get going and move. And so I think it's just interesting to see what happens there. Also, where I think what helps with Matt Patricia is that him and now co-DC OG Walt, Tim Walton, coached with each other way back at Syracuse. And Coach Walton, about a month or two ago, in an interview, talked about how they still use the same language. Matt Patricia's expertise is in the front 7. Waltz is in the backside. Pause. Yep. So, like, I really believe that there's going to be, like, with all that, it's going to help this defense. But there's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be some growing pains. And one of the things that I am a little bit concerned about, and this kind of goes back to the game last year, is, and I know Texas fans were clamoring for Arch to replace Quinn Ewers because Quinn Ewers was kind of a statue back there. Like, he's not someone who can really. Do not talk about my boy like that. I will talk about your boy like that. He was not really able to hurt Ohio State with his legs, and that's something that I think is going to kind of be a big factor in this game, coming up, because Ohio State, they're switching to this new style of defense, and I am very curious to see how that communication goes when things break down and all of a sudden Arch is scrambling around and able to get some yards. That's one of the things I'm concerned about in this game.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that. We don't expect Sark to go crazy with him running 10, 15 times a game, but it's those off-script plays, obviously, that are going to cause the issue for defenses now. Where you're 100% right. Quinn Ewers cannot do that. I still disagree with Gerald and I both disagree. Most Texas fans were dumb. We're asking for Arch because he didn't understand the playbook at all. Like, he didn't understand 100% of the playbook like Quinn did, in and out. You could tell when he came into the game they had to dumb down some things. So I don't expect that this year. I mean, 3 years in the system, I think he knows it pretty well by now. But that's the thing, Garrison, you pointed it out too. Tom Fornelli with that top 5 running backs thing. Gerald and I would 100% disagree with that. We have gigantic question marks there because of C.J. Baxter's injury. Like, he's coming back from an LCL, PCL. That's going to be a long recovery. I don't think he's going to be 100% by the time this game rolls around.
When did he injure his? When did he get hurt?
He got hurt about midway through summer last year, Gerald?
Yeah.
I think it was like June, July.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully his girlfriend's Mia Scott on the softball team who played all year with one good knee. So hopefully she gave him some tips. Is really what we're hoping for.
No, I think for your running backs, I understand that with CJ Baxter. That's understandable. For me, it's not even just about Baxter. I believe in the first 2. I saw it firsthand. Like those are Wisner is one of the best receiving running backs out of the backfield I've ever seen. The fact that it just kept happening and happening and happening to the point where the game was tied in the playoff when we played you guys. I was like, my goodness, right? Like, so I don't know. I think your guys' running back situation is fine, even if Baxter doesn't play. And I think if Baxter does play, you're talking about one of the best 3D, and if he's healthy and like healthy enough, right? Even at 80 to 90%, I would say that's probably the best, like, depth-wise running back room in the nation from 1 to 3.
That I don't disagree with. Like, depth-wise, we're good, but there's question marks with all of them. Like, Baxter, it's his health. Wisner, I like, but I did a video on this in the middle of last year. I got heat from Texas fans. There's literally a guy that continuously says, I need you to be kicked off the channel because I'm an idiot. I got another comment this week from that. But I was right in the end because I said Trey Wisner is not good enough to lead a team to a national championship as the number 1 running back, and he's not. Like, if you look at the past 10 to 12 teams that have done it, he would be probably the worst running. And again, I love the guy. He's a really good football player, but he's not a number 1 running back on a national championship team. Gibson, fumbling issues, and then Christian Clark, he's coming off an ACL or an Achilles injury as well. So 2 of your top 4 running backs are coming back from injury. So that's a weakness for me right now. I don't know if you feel that way, Gerald. I know we've talked about it a little bit.
I wouldn't call it a weakness, but it's definitely a question mark. I mean, you and I have talked about, if CJ Baxter is healthy, like he is going to be one of the top running backs in the country. Like I'm fine with that. Trey Wisner, I have gone on record. Trey Wisner deserves to never buy a beer in the city of Austin ever again. 3-star kid, came in almost like he was almost recruited over, and then came in, made his name on special teams, and was RB1 on a college football playoff teams. Like that kid deserves every free beer and free meal he gets. But I think there are deficiencies in his game. I think you see it with Texas's short yardage issues last year is one that really like brings kind of my flags up, is that, he doesn't have the skill set and size of a CJ Baxter. Jared Gibson, they couldn't trust that Rhino to hold on to the ball, so you can't put him in there in short yardage situation. Yep. So I'm not worried about it, but it's definitely one of those things that I'm like, I wish I felt better going into it.
Let's put it this way. We're not running a toss sweep with CJ Baxter on 2nd and goal versus Ohio State.
Toward Caleb Downs, don't forget that. Toward Caleb Downs, don't you forget that.
I would love if you did. Personally,
oh my God,
I would not.
My children learned some new words after that play.
Now that Matthew Golden's gone, like, how do you feel about Texas's #1 wide receivers going up against Ohio State's defensive backs? Because I think, quite honestly, that might determine this game. Because I know as Ohio State fans, they feel really confident about their secondary. So, like, what do you guys think about the Texas receivers going up?
Gerald, I'll let you hit that.
Yeah, this is a group that has there's a very, very big difference between, I think, the floor and the ceiling for this group. There's a ton of talent. And if they hit their top end, like it's an elite group. Like they've got multiple 5-star kids. They've got Ryan Wingo. They've got Ryan Niblett. They've got Jamie French. They've got all these kids that were big name recruiting, but none of them have major stats that have been wide receiver 1 on a team that has national championship level aspirations. I think Jack Endries at tight end probably helps quite a bit and softens that a little bit, especially for a young quarterback, having a guy you could be as your safety net. He's going to be, I think, legit. And I'll let Matt gush about Endries here in a second, because I think he's probably the charter member of the fan club. But yeah, I that is a concern. And I think folks are going to tune in for a game and expect something really exciting. And if you're not into defensive battles, I don't know if this is going to be the game for you. I think it's going to be lower scoring than people anticipate, because I think Ohio State is equipped to shut down what Texas wants to do. And I think Texas in a lot of ways is equipped to shut down what Ohio State wants to do. So I think if you like defense, like I love watching good defensive football. So I think we're going to see a lot of that in this game.
No, I completely agree with that, because you have two guys coming in at quarterback with 2 combined starts. So I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game. And yes, I am the #1 fan of Jack Endries. That's going to be one of my hot takes when we go into this season. I think he's going to have the best season in the history of Texas football at the tight end position. I think he's that good. So, yeah, I think he's that good.
I'm laughing because earlier when I was going through your roster, your depth chart, I had to look him up and go, who the hell is this guy? Because there's nothing. I see 4 years of nothing.
Yeah. Also, and Gerald, you mentioned Jamie French.
Am I thinking of the right person?
No, you're thinking of Spencer Shannon. He transferred from Cal.
Why do they have him as a starter? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's 6'7".
Yeah,
that's about it. 6'7" and kind of fast. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jack Endries is the guy we got from Cal. He had 800 or 700 yards receiving last year with 8 or 9 touchdowns. He's good. He's legitimately one of the 2 to 3 best tight ends in college football. But Max Clare, by the way, those two might be the best too.
I was going to bring him up. Jared Garrison loves him some Max Clare.
Hey, we love our tight ends over here. But yeah, I agree. I think the ceiling is really high for this Texas wide receiver room, because I think Ryan Wingo's that guy. I think he's really, really special. He gets forgotten about because obviously Jeremiah Smith is a freak. Ryan Williams is a freak, but I think he could slide in and be that third guy potentially in college football. Do I think he will? I don't know. I haven't seen enough yet, but he has that potential. It's a really deep room, though. It's kind of like the running back room. There's question marks, but it's really deep. Parker Livingstone is a guy that's going to get a decent amount of playing time, and he's the 5th or 6th guy. And this guy's running a 4.35, 4.440 out there, 6'4" white dude. And you're like, oh, this guy's this quick. So yeah, he's going to be a good player for us. And I think we're just going to be able to attack all, deep down the field this year. We weren't able to do that with Quinn Ewers, I think, for multiple reasons. I don't think it's a strength of his, but I also think it's because he was hurt. Let's be honest here. He's playing on a torn lat. He had an ankle injury, so he's not going to be able to step into his throws as well. But Arch Manning has a cannon, and I think we're going to be able to attack deep more this year.
He should have stayed in Columbus, man.
Yeah. So as far as the depth goes, like I think you made a good point there, Matt, because I think both of these programs are kind of in the same boat. We're coming into this game, there's a lot of question marks in certain positions, but they're deep in those positions. Like both programs have recruited exceedingly well at those spots. So it's just time for those guys who have been kind of sitting and waiting for their turn to step up and show what they can do. Because I think both teams are going to come in with who's going to perform on the defensive line for Ohio State. Like you mentioned, the wide receivers behind Wingo. Like who's going to do that? You mentioned about the running backs. I think it's a lot of the same deal for both of these programs, and that's what makes it that's what makes the week one matchup so fascinating.
No, I agree, because I think like you guys have lost a lot of coaches too, and we can relate to that up until the last couple of years under Sark, because we were going through a defensive coordinator every other year, and it does take some time. Like you guys will be much better at the end of the season defensively than you will at the beginning of the season. That's going to happen. I just want your fan base to know that it's going to happen, because guys, PK is a great defensive coordinator, and at the beginning of his tenure, there were people saying he needs to be fired. He needs to be fired. I'm like, did you see what he did at Washington? Because he was pretty good at Washington. Maybe you should give him some time. I think Matt Patricia's the same. With some time, he'll be pretty good. But yeah, I agree. I think we're really deep. We've closed the talent gap with the last couple classes, because Ohio State and Georgia were like way ahead of everyone else talent-wise. That is starting to get a little bit closer. We're still third, but it's gotten a lot closer. So it's going to be a really fun game. I know that.
Well, I want to bring this up because you talked about Wingo, and there was a play in the playoff game against you guys when Caleb Downs tripped him up when he's going up the left sideline. I watched. I think it was a reverse play or something like that. It was a reverse or a screen, right? And I saw that. Yeah, it was a screen. And I said, if Caleb Downs didn't do that, he was housing that. He was housing that. Touchdown. And I was like, so for like Matthew, that's what I'm saying to you. Like, I don't need to see the production. Like I was talking to people. They asked who are your top 3 wide receivers in the Big Ten. I said Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, and Nick Marshall at Michigan State. He only had 600 yards, but I saw what I needed to see. And so I feel the same way about Wingo. Now, this is where Garrison becomes Garrison, and he's got to deal with it. You talked about the depth at your wide receiver room. But I looked at the wide receiver room, and if I'm correct here, I counted 3 upperclassmen and 5 or 6 freshmen, 1 sophomore. So my question is, how experienced are they, and do you believe that the guys behind them? If I'm wrong here, I think your second stringers are going to be freshmen, at least 1 or 2 of them. Do you think they're going to be ready, or do you think they have the talent coming in with Arch? In his first time starting, I know everyone say like, he had over 900 yards last year, but the 2 games he started, I'm sorry, Mississippi State ain't the bar for me, and I saw him do crap against a crap team. I still believe in Arch. I still think he's, even though I saw make him wobbly for a second, but
well, and traveling the shoe is a different animal than playing, some of those other teams he was playing.
So my question is, what do you expect? Not from the stars. I think it's Moore is one of the wide receivers, correct? Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, DeAndre Moore.
Yeah, DeAndre Moore. Out of the starters, what do you expect for the guys behind those 3?
Jared, I'll let you hit that.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have a spring game, so I couldn't tell you what the depth chart looks like as of right now.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I forgot about that too.
Yeah, but I think from a like you said, from a talent standpoint, I mean, they've got kids that are freshmen that are coming in that are 6'2", running sub 11 on the track. So like they've got guys that have the talent, right? They've got guys that had all you. I'm not like a star watcher. I'm an offers watcher. When you look at recruiting, and you got guys that have all the right offers, all the right coaches that want them. And so, I mean, there is a ton of talent in that room. I think that second group of guys, Parker Livingston, like Matthew mentioned, you probably see like Khalik Lockett, maybe Jamie French. I'm not sure who that, like Michael Terry. There's a lot of talent. None of them have played a snap in Austin yet or in anywhere yet. So like I don't know what the production will be. But I think ultimately, Sark has done a really good job of putting receivers, regardless of experience, in great position to win, right? Devonta Smith wasn't really a household name before he won a Heisman, right? That's always the thing that I fall back on. He was good, but nobody really was talking about him preseason as a Heisman favorite. And the guy just showed up and won a Heisman. So I think I'm ultimately always going to lean on, like, I trust Sark and his staff to put those guys in position. I mean, he made a first round draft pick out of a quarterback that I think is now on his way out of the league a few years ago. So like, I trust his acumen on the offensive side of the ball to like put the guys in position to win.
Yeah, I agree. And they are young. We landed 3 of the top 10, according to 247, the composite of the freshman wide receivers coming in: Dalen McCutcheon, Jamie French, and Khalid Lockett. It's funny because Jamie French and Khalid Lockett get mentioned more, but if you read the articles of like insiders, Dalen McCutcheon's the one that's getting more snaps and getting talked about more. So I think you'll see him more.
Jamie French.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier, Gibbs. Ohio State was trying to land him as well.
Yeah, he's really good. But I expect, like, out of those 3 freshmen, I think Dalen McCutcheon's going to play more, honestly. So look out for him. And then a guy that people keep talking about, and he has the speed, he has everything you want, but I'm not sure about yet, is Aaron Butler. This is a guy that we recruited last year, and people were comping him to Xavier Worthy because of the quickness and short spaces and everything like that.
He's also very skinny.
Yes, he's very little, but I don't know what to expect. Now, I forgot about this guy, Emmett Mosley, the 5th from Stanford. Good football player. I think he's going to play a lot more and be a lot better than people think he is, because he played for Stanford last year and he still played well. I think he had 600 yards receiving and 6 touchdowns at Stanford. So I expect pretty good production out of him as well this year.